Brace yourselves, because today we are ranking the top 20 AAA and Prep hockey leagues throughout North America, so definitely stick around to find out what those are. What's going on, guys? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Braden Pearl, and I'm the founder of Advancement Hockey Advising, where we've helped over 500 players advance to the next levels in their hockey career. So we're going to get into our rankings in about 30 seconds or so, but first, let's start with the metrics here. So we're going to evaluate the league's performance based on the past 3 years or so. Metric number 1 is going to be number of NCAA D1 advancements. Metric number 2 is going to be number of NCAA D1 commitments for the 2025-26 season. Number 3 is number of USHL and CHL advancements. Number 4 is number of NHL draft picks, and then number 5 is our subjective take based on what we've seen over the years. A couple things to keep in mind: that there will be some crossover between different teams and leagues just because AAA and Prep hockey does have a few gray lines in between it where teams play one another. Note that this is U18 ranking, so not U15 or U16. So leagues like the GTHL and U15 that would normally be very strong aren't ranked as high in the U18 rankings. All right, so kicking off our list at number 20 here is a North American Prospects League, otherwise known as the NAPHL. A couple notable programs are Maine Nordiques, New Hampshire Mountain Kings, Minnesota Mallards, and so on. So NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years are actually at 0. Upcoming NCAA D1 commits for the following season have 3 from the NAPHL. They have 12 USHL advancements in the past 3 years, none to the CHL, which makes sense because it's more of an American league. And then they have 1 NHL draft pick in the past 3 years that came from that league. Now, although this league is ranked at number 20, there are some good teams in this league, and you can advance to the next level from this league as well. You just got to go to a specific program, and that's going to be the main theme that I'm going to touch on here throughout this video. Even though we're ranking the leagues, definitely go on the best program you can that gives you the best ice time possible. All right, moving on to number 19 here, we have the Tier 1 Hockey Federation in the US. Some notable teams are the Boston Junior Bruins, the Mercer Chiefs, the Northern Cyclones, Potomac Patriots, and so on. In terms of NCAA D1 advancements the past 3 years, they've had 2. They have 7 NCAA D1 commits for the upcoming season. They have 11 USHL advancements in the past 3 years, no CHL advancements, and no NHL draft picks in the past 3 years. All right, number 18, we have the Midwest Prep Hockey League, otherwise known as the MPHL. Now, this one surprised me a little. I thought it was going to be ranked a little bit higher, but as we dove into the data, we found out that, it doesn't have that many advancements compared to the other leagues on our list here. So it's a little bit lower ranked, but there are some good teams in this league that you can definitely go to. Now, some of these teams include Lake Forest Academy, Gilmore Academy, Ridley College, Rice Memorial Prep, and so on. D1 advancements in the past 3 years, only 1 actually. And then when we're looking at D1 commitments for the upcoming season, we actually have 2. Now, if we look at CHL and USHL advancements in the past 3 years, for the USHL, we have 4. For the OHL, we have 3. And then the QMJHL, we have 9. And we have 1 NHL draft pick that's been produced in the past 3 years from this league. So like I said before, good league. Okay stats, not quite as high as other leagues that we're going to mention on this ranking here, but there are some good teams with good development that you can go to. Number 7 on our list here, we have the British Columbia Elite Hockey League, otherwise known as the BC EHL. Some notable teams here in this league are the Vancouver Northwest Hawks, the Vancouver Northeast Chiefs, and the Greater Vancouver Canadians. So this league doesn't really have much of an NCAA focus. In the past 3 years, there's no D1 commits, and there's no upcoming D1 commits for the following season. They've mainly been advancing players to the WHL, which we have 9 WHL advancements in the past 3 years. But you're probably asking yourself, okay, why are these guys ranked higher than the MPHL? Well, the reason is that they have 2 NHL draft picks that they produced in the past 3 years. So that's why we're giving them the slight edge here. But overall, both are pretty equivalent when it comes to caliber, development, and so on. All right, moving on to number 16 here, we have Hockey Eastern Ontario, or otherwise known as HEO, and this is one of my personal favorites because I'm from the Eastern Ontario region, so it's definitely a league that I'm quite familiar with here. Some notable teams from this league here are the Ottawa Junior 67s, we have the Eastern Ontario Wild, we have the Ottawa Valley Titans, we have Ontario Hockey Academy, which is a prep school that plays in this league. It's a very well-known league and quite a few good teams that come from this league. Now, when it comes to NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, from U18 specifically, we don't have any. When it comes to NCAA D1 commitments moving forward, we have 1 in the pipeline. Now, for CHL and USHL advancements, this is where they shine. So USHL, they have 2 advancements, which makes sense that they're lower since they're in Eastern Ontario. For OHL, they have 25 in the past 3 years, which is pretty significant. And then from the QMJHL, they have 2, which also makes sense because they're more in the Ontario region. And they have 0 NHL draft picks in the past 3 years. At number 15 here, we have the New Brunswick and PEI U18 AAA League. Some notable teams here are the Moncton Flyers, the Fredericton Caps, and then the Charlottetown Knights. When we look at NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, we don't have any, and one in the pipeline for the following season, which makes sense because there's not a huge focus on NCAA D1 advancement out east. But when we look at a number of CHL and USHL advancements, well, if you look at the Q, they have 35 advancements in the past 3 years, which is pretty significant and makes sense because the Q really recruits out from out east a lot. And then number of NHL draft picks, we have 0 in the past 3 years. Moving on to number 14 is the Nova Scotia U18 AAA League, which is really neck and neck with the New Brunswick PEI one, but it's just a little bit ahead because you'll see just a little bit better in terms of numbers, but they are neck and neck. Some notable teams here in this league are the Halifax McDonald's, the Cape Breton West Islanders, and the Sydney Rush. Similar to their New Brunswick and PEI counterparts, there are no NCAA advancements in the past 3 years, and they don't have any commitments in the pipeline coming up compared to New Brunswick PEI that did have. Now, in terms of major junior advancements, they have 34 in the QMJHL, so one less than the New Brunswick PEI, but they do have 2 in the OHL. So in a total, they're basically like neck and neck, but we're just giving the slight edge because they have one more major junior commitment compared to the previous league here. In terms of NHL draft picks, similar to their counterpart, they don't have any in the past 3 years. Moving on to number 13 on our list here is the Manitoba U18 AAA League. Some notable teams on our list here are the Parkland Rangers, the Winnipeg Bruins, the Winnipeg Thrashers, and the Brandon Wheat Knights. In the past 3 years, they have 0 NCAA D1 advancements, but in the upcoming season here, they have 2 commitments in the pipeline. In terms of CHL and USHL advancements, they have 31 total advancements to the WHL, which is pretty significant. And for NHL draft picks, they have 0 in the past 3 years. Now, we rank these guys slightly ahead because they do have quite a few WHL advancements. They have a few less CHL advancements compared to the 2 previous teams out east. However, they do have 2 commitments NCAA D1 in the pipeline. So it gives me a little bit more of a sense of balance for this league, which is why we rank them a little bit higher. At number 12, we have the Ontario Minor Hockey Association, otherwise known as OMHA. Notable teams are the Oakville Rangers, the York Simcoe Express, and the Markham Waxers. In terms of NCAA D1 commits in the past 3 years, they don't have any, and none in the pipeline for the following season, which did surprise me a little bit, but they do make up for it in terms of major junior advancements. In the past 3 years, they've advanced 38 players to the OHL and 2 to the Quebec Major Junior League, which is pretty significant, giving them a total number of 40 advancements in the past 3 years. For NHL draft picks, they have 0 in the past 3 years. And at number 11, we have the Greater Toronto Hockey League, otherwise known as the GTHL, which is a very, very well-known league. Again, these guys are at number 11 and not in the top 3 because we're looking at U18 hockey and not U15 or U16 hockey. Notable teams are the Toronto Marlies, the Toronto Junior Canadians, and the Don Mills Flyers. In terms of NCAA D1 advancements, this did surprise me a little bit, but they have 0 in the past 3 years, which is probably because it's not guys who played at the U15 level, and they have 1 in the pipeline coming up in 2025-26. For CHL and USHL advancements, we have 30 that went to the OHL in the past 3 years, and we have 1 that went to the QMJHL in the past 3 years. And in terms of NHL draft picks, they have 0 in the past 3 years. Now, we rank these guys a little bit higher than the previous league that's from the Toronto area as well, just because they had 1 NCAA D1 advancement in the pipeline, even though they had less major junior advancements. But that being said, a case could be made that they are pretty neck and neck at the U18 level. Moving on to number 10 is the Boston Elite Amateur Series Tournament, otherwise known as Beast U18. Some notable teams are the Long Island Gulls, the Maine Nordiques, and the Boston Junior Huskies. Now, NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years are at 0 based off the data, but I'm a little bit skeptical on this number because the upcoming D1 commits that they have for the following season are 20. So I'm a little bit skeptical with the number that we have here, to keep that in mind. But you do see as we're going up the list, especially in the top 10, there are going to be more NCAA D1 commits coming out of it. In terms of CHL and USHL advancements, we have 23 advancements to the USHL, and then we have 2 advancements to the QMJHL. And when looking at NHL draft picks in the past 3 years, we have 0 in total. Moving on to number 9 here, we have the Alberta Elite Hockey League, or the AEHL U18 AAA League. Some notable teams are the Calgary Buffaloes, the Calgary Royals, the Red Deer Chiefs, and the Edmonton Junior Oilers. For NCAA D1 advancements, we have 0 in the past 3 years, and we have 4 actually for the upcoming 2025-26 season. For CHL and USHL advancements, in the WHL, we have 80 in the past 3 years, which is very significant. For USHL, we have 1, and then we have 1 for the OHL as well. So as you can see, very, very significant, very big uptake in terms of CHL advancements compared to the past teams here in this league, and it's only going to get more and more. In terms of NHL draft picks in the past 3 years, they have 0 in this league. Moving on to number 8 on this list, we have the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League. Notable teams in this league are the Notre Dame Hounds, the Saskatoon Blazers, the Saskatoon Contacts, and the Moose Jaw Warriors. NCAA D1 in the past 3 years are 0, and then upcoming season we have 5 D1 commits in the pipeline from this league. In terms of other advancements to the CHL and USHL, for the WHL they actually have 85 advancements, the USHL they have 4 advancements, and the QMJHL they have 2 advancements, so even more advancements to the major junior level compared to the previous team on this list. And then in terms of NHL draft picks, they have 1 who played in this league in the past 3 years. At number 7 on our list, we have the U18 AAA in Quebec. Some notable teams on our list here are the Magog Cantoneers, Levis Chevalier, and the Lac Saint Louis Lions. Now, I actually had the privilege to watch this league quite a bit just because I'm from the Montreal area. So very, very strong league overall. I would say these rankings don't quite do it justice because of how strong it is. And we do have some leagues that are very, very elite that are ahead of this league here, but this league is very, very strong overall, has some great talent, and they do have quite a few advancements to prove it here. Now, when it comes to NCAA D1 advancements here, in the past 3 years, they have 0, and they have 4 coming up in the pipeline here, which is pretty good. But it's not really their main focus here. It's more on the major junior advancements, as you'll see right now. So in the past 3 years, they've advanced 230 players to the QMJHL, which makes a lot of sense because it is their main pipeline, because it is the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League after all. In terms of USHL advancements in the past 3 years, they've advanced 3. And then if we look at NHL draft picks, they've had 2 come out of this league in the past 3 years. All right, so moving on to number 6 on our list here is the CSSHL in Canada. So this league is a very big league that's scattered throughout all of Canada here. It's very concentrated in Western Canada, but there's quite a few teams in Eastern Canada as well, and it's a very, very big league. It has some AAA teams, but it's mainly prep hockey teams that are in this league. Some notable teams here are the Burnaby Winter Club, the Calgary Edge School, and the Northern Alberta Extreme. So they have 0 NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, and they have 3 upcoming NCAA D1 commitments in the next year. In terms of CHL and USHL advancements, well, it makes sense that the most advancements they're going to have are the WHL at 210 in the past 3 years. And then if we look at the lesser ones, we have OHL, we have 2, QMJHL, we have 1, and then the USHL, we have 1 as well. Now, if we look at number of NHL draft picks, this is the first significant one where we have 5 in the past 3 years coming from this league, which does make sense because it's a big league and it's very focused out west as well. All right, so moving on to number 5 here, we have the Upper Midwest High School Elite Hockey League. Now, I know that's a really big mouthful, so I'm surprised I said it correctly, but it is quite a good league here. The most notable team that comes out of this league is Shattuck St. Mary's. If you guys don't know about them, we've done a video here that you can check out here, and we've done other rankings that include Shattuck in them, and Shattuck is by far the best prep hockey program in North America. So if you want to check those out, you can, but that's the most notable program that comes out of this league here. In terms of NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, they've had 6, and then they actually have upcoming advancements 33 in the next year or so. For CHL and USHL advancements, well, it's mainly focused on the USHL with 93 advancements in the last 3 years. And then for NHL draft picks, we have 4 in the past 3 years. Number 4 on our list, we have the Prep Hockey Conference. Now, this conference is very, very strong. Again, they have Shattuck St. Mary's that also plays in this conference as well, but they have other really good programs as well. Programs that include St. Andrews College, Culver Academy, Mount St. Charles, and a few others as well. So very, very strong altogether. We have a total of 6 NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, and we have 23 upcoming here that are predicted in the next season here in 2025-26. For CHL and USHL advancements, we have 37 in the past 3 years. We have 1 WHL advancement, 12 OHL advancements, and then 11 QMJHL advancements. So quite a few considering this is a very, very small league. So per capita, this is very, like super high numbers if you think about it. And then for NHL draft picks, we have 10 in the past 3 years. So that is actually insane to think about considering that it's such a small league here. All right, so number 3 on our list here, we have Minnesota High School Hockey. As we all know, it's very, very strong. We've made a video about it up here. We've made quite a few videos ranking them too, but overall, very, very strong hockey altogether. Some notable programs include Minnetonka, Maple Grove, Andover, Gentry, and Northfield, and there's many others. Past 3 years, they've had 10 NCAA D1 advancements come out of that league, and then if we look at the ones that they're projected to commit are 44 coming up. CHL and USHL advancements in the past 3 years, they've advanced 115 players to the USHL level. And if you look at NHL draft picks, it makes sense. They have 6 in the past 3 years here. Moving on to number 2 on our list here, we have USHS Prep. So it's a bunch of the prep schools here located in the US. So many phenomenal programs in this league, including Avon Old Farms. We have Kimball Union Academy. We have South Kent that is in this list. We have Kent that's in this list. We have so many prep schools that we can name off. I wouldn't be able to finish the video at that point. NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, we have 14, and then we have 62 NCAA D1 commitments that are projected here in the next year or so. In terms of CHL, USHL advancements, so for the USHL we have 76, for the OHL we have 9, QMJHL we have 9, and then the WHL we have 1. And then in terms of NHL draft picks, we have 9 in the past 3 years here. So overall, USHS Prep, again, phenomenal programs to go to. Any program that's interested in you where you think you're going to get good ice time is a phenomenal place to go, considering that cost makes sense for sure. Now, moving on to number 1, it probably comes as no surprise here. Drum roll please. We have US NTDP. Of course, it has to be number 1. No other program or league can compete against these guys. They are the best of the best, the cream of the crop that are going to play for this specific team here. So for NCAA D1 advancements in the past 3 years, we have 28. And keep in mind, this is coming from one team here. For the upcoming season, they're predicting to advance 5 NCAA D1 commitments for the 2025-26 season. For CHL and USHL advancements, so they've advanced 59 players to the USHL in the past 3 years, and then 1 player to the WHL in the past 3 years, and then 2 players to the OHL in the past 3 years. Now, keep in mind, this is likely going to change just because of the whole NCAA CHL rule change. So this is going to be interesting to track over the next several years. And then in terms of NHL draft picks, 30 in the past 3 years. So that comes as no surprise, but it's still a crazy number to think about considering it's coming from one team here. And there you have it, my friends. I know this was an exhaustive list and a bit of a longer video, but hopefully it gives you some value and keeps you thinking, okay, which ones are the good leagues to go to? How do I rank these and all that stuff? But keep in mind the main message of the video here, that although we do these rankings and stuff, the most important thing is that you go for the team that's going to give you the most ice time at the highest level possible. So try and go for the best league possible where you're actually going to get that ice time to develop and get better. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, drop a comment down below. If you want to keep watching, click here or click here. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.